Hi, it's Cathy Cress again, and I am back with my YouTube channel, Geriatric Care 1, and we are doing Meltdown in the Dysfunctional Family, or the Super Reasonable Family, or the Long Distance Family over the holidays. And we are now to the heart of darkness, as I said in the last episode, the dysfunctional family during the holidays. And now I'm going to talk about, should you take the case? Um, these are really, really difficult cases. Dysfunctional families are very hard to deal with, just like they're very hard to be in. I was in a dysfunctional family. I'm the oldest. I used an example of that last time. Um, so, are you going to be open as a geriatric care manager or as an aging life care manager to working with families who are incredibly needy, incredibly demanding, and can be incredibly insulting to you? It takes a lot of skill to be able to deal with this kind of person or this kind of family, because you could have three people just being all those things. Um, do you have the business model? And this is really important to get to actually realign your caseload. They are the best, not dysfunctional families, but people in the top 10% who tend to be really dysfunctional are the best cases to take, because they can pay you the fee that geriatric care managers have to charge, because Medicare doesn't cover it, but they're the hardest. And so what you have to do, and I talked about this in an earlier webinar, is you have to scale your caseload so that you can only take so many of these families, and you've got to move in families that only need a little bit of care, that are easier to deal with, because these families take tons of your time. You're going to make a lot of money doing it. However, you have to have incredible skills, because you will have to bill a whole lot of hours just because of the nature of the family. So can you you can't say, oh, sure, I can. You really have to work on this. You have to be really aware of your caseload. And you really probably need to increase your staff. Because just, say during the holidays you have 10 dysfunctional families that are going to call you. You can't handle all that. I think maybe you were saying, Cathy, of course I can. You can't. You need to be able to disperse the caseload, so you probably are going to have to hire extra staff. That's a good thing, but you need a business model, and you need to know income and expenses, and and be able to handle a balance sheet, and to be able to do this. So that's really what these families require of you as a business owner. Can you basically, realign your business plan to deal with them? Because you're going to have to. And can you offer a tightly managed business plan to be able to, and that takes financial forecasting, which in the business modules that I have with the operations manual, I teach you to do, and that's actually a version of it is in the new Handbook of Geriatric Care Management and Startup. But that gives you the ability to really forecast how many cases you need and how many heavy cases you can take, and dysfunctional families are heavy cases. So you really have to know financial forecasting to do this. And the other thing is, can you take being fired? These people fire you at the drop of a hat because they can't take rejection, they can't take being told what to do, they don't listen, and so many times they become account receivables issues. Now, I'm not saying not to take them, but you have to be prepared for this. The other thing is, like all families, they die. And you may be billing a whole lot of hours, and what you have to know is that those hours, you don't get out of life alive. When they die, you need to have them replaced, because if you're really depending upon that income to keep you afloat, you have to know that you have to pick up so many other cases. When, if a case that takes a whole lot of hours and you're billing a lot of money for disappears because the person just died. So you really need to be able to balance your business to be able to take that. And then what does this take from you skill-wise? Well, it takes a lot. You have to have at least 5 years of practice in working as a care manager or aging life care manager. You have to have the credentials to work with families like this, which means that you have to have an LCSW with, you know, all the accompanying hours of, you know, internship that goes along with that. If you, or not, have an MFT because they specialize in families. You have to know mediation, and basically you have to know that you can't do it as a geriatric care manager, or you're actually a certified mediator, and there's a lot of care managers out there that are. But mediation is not geriatric care management. It takes huge skills. So you have to know when to basically turn this family over to a mediator or have it within your practice. And you have to have the skills to work within family dynamics, because you actually enter this family, the dysfunctional family. And you have to have a lot of skill to do that, which means that you really have to understand family dynamics, you have to understand family therapy, you have to understand mediation, you have to belong to the Aging Life Association, and you have to be highly skilled. So you really can't take these families unless you have all that, or you hire a care manager that does. So I will see you next time, and go to my website, cathycress.com, and you can schedule the webinar on November 18th about all of this and above.